Chapter 1 Tartarus Hades. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Suddenly, a loud roar came from the vast and dense jungle. The entire forest was shaken, and large numbers of bird creatures quickly fled the area. The giant elephant, which was tens of meters tall, raised its head high and its entire front body was suspended in the air. A pair of pillar-like elephant feet stomped down along with the falling front body. The target is this little guy who came to provoke. Boom. An earthquake seemed to have occurred in an area with a radius of tens of meters. The entire ground was constantly shattering under the terrifying force, and gravel was flying. The violent impact even caused a wave of air. The ground sank under the heavy step, and the cracks spread like a spider web. The giant elephant looked up to the sky and roared. It was the overlord of this area, and many enemies died under his legs. What happened? He seemed to notice something was wrong, and looked down and noticed that one of his legs was somewhat in the air. Under the shadow, an arm supported its elephant hooves and even its entire body, preventing it from going down any further. Isn't your strength enough? Some quiet voices sounded from below. Before it could react, the next moment, unparalleled power came from bottom to top. The sky and the earth seemed to be upside down at this moment. Only when I came back to my senses did I realize that I had been overturned. The huge body hit the ground heavily and twisted, its thick trunk and legs supporting its body to get up. Instinctively, as if it had sensed something, the elephant's trunk flicked forcefully to the side, causing its body to change direction. The heavy body showed unprecedented flexibility. The tiny body was directly hit by the elephant's trunk, and flew backwards with a violent impact, hitting several trees before stopping. The body fell slowly and stood firmly on the ground. He seemed a little embarrassed, but he did not suffer any injuries. In an open space hundreds of meters away, there was a 1,000-man troop observing the battle from a distance, each wearing elite armor and fully armed. Don't worry, Zoro, such destructive power can't hurt His Highness at all, don't you know? That the strong fat man, who was munching on the roasted leg, couldn't help but chuckle when he saw Zoro, who was about to move. You don't need to remind me of this, Titan. A young commander named Zoro, wearing leather armor and a long knife hanging on his waist, glanced at the Titan, and then looked forward again. Even though he knew how terrifying His Highness was, his monster-like physique and vitality had yet to leave any scars on his body, making him even better than a Titan who had eaten a devil fruit. This is, of course, after all, this is His Highness, the heir to the Tartarus family who has inherited the king's bloodline, but in his opinion, it would be a shame for His Highness to take action. Any enemies can be left to ministers like them to clear all obstacles. There is no right or wrong, only loyalty. However, this is His Highness's decision and he has no right to interfere. This was also his instinct. He had decided to dedicate everything to His Highness a long time ago, even his own life. He is the future of the kingdom of Kronos. Are you a little careless? Touching his slightly aching chest, Hades looked at the giant elephant not far away. In his previous life, he was definitely a creature that shocked the world and would definitely be enshrined in a zoo. Now he has long been accustomed to it. This is just the normal state of this world. He touched his somewhat messy purple hair and patted the dust off his body, not paying attention to the giant elephant in the distance exhaling through its trunk in anger because of his ignorance. Flutter, I saw the giant elephant roaring loudly, and then running quickly. The target was Hades. Every time you step on it, the ground vibrates, and the thick skin is like a wall made of steel. Who do you think I am? Come closer. Looking at this scene, he couldn't help but think of another picture in his mind, but the ending is the same. It hits the muzzle of the gun. How stupid, haven't you recognized yourself yet? Hades's purple pupils shone with cold light, and the invisible pressure suddenly erupted, mixed with a surge of anger that quickly spread, swallowing up the giant elephant quickly like a wave. The giant elephant's body stagnated, and its whole body was enveloped by an invisible oppression. The original running movement suddenly stopped, and the huge body was still sliding forward due to the strong inertia. The little guy in front of him had become so terrifying for some reason. The aura emitted made his body tremble instinctively, and sweat was visible around his little eyes, dripping continuously. Standing in front of him seemed to be a monster countless times more ferocious than him. Behind him, there seemed to be a terrifying shadow that covered the sky and the sun, and his body bones could not help but bend. the beast king who allowed it to dominate a place like this was instinctively terrified. I wanted to escape, but it was too late. Time seems to have stopped, and under this pressure, it has not yet gained control of its body. Hades' figure disappeared from the spot in an instant, and a sound broke through the air. When it reappeared, it was in front of it. Immediately afterwards, the fist wrapped with a vicious aura hit its head hard with terrifying force. Click. The sound of broken bones could be clearly heard, and the giant elephant's left eye protruded unreasonably, as if it was about to pop out. Boom. The sand and dust dispersed, and the giant elephant fell to the ground, unconscious with its eyes white. It has to be said that Hades has been in a very bad mood recently and wants to vent. It can only be said that it is an unreasonable disaster for the giant elephant, but who cares? Moreover, it was not the only one who was hit by Huohua. Not many people in this mountain forest could survive. Let's go back. Hades didn't hide it, his face was unkind, and he exuded an aura that was not easy to mess with. Something must have happened, but they didn't know. At this time, no one felt Hades' brow. Yes, your highness. The ancient and gorgeous hall reflects the traces of time, and the decorations on the walls. Any piece placed on the sea is a treasure that has been robbed by many nobles. It often needs to be well preserved and collected, but here it is just a random display, like a palace-style museum. At this time, Tartarus Bane, the king of the kingdom of Kronos, was wearing more casual clothes and looked at the young man beside him, with unconcealed satisfaction and some worry in his eyes. At only 12 years old, his height reached 1.9 meters, making it difficult for anyone to tell his true age, but in this world, especially the chaotic new world, it's common. Besides, with the family genes here, even he is more than 3 meters tall. Beautiful purple hair, handsome face, revealing a majestic and noble purple pupils. The resemblance, it was so similar, that familiar figure was reflected in his eyes, and the two figures overlapped. Brother, Hades is also about to grow up, Ben said with emotion, feeling a little relieved. After all, he also watched Hades grow up. Chapter 2 Discussion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But have you decided yet? Hades. Ben looked at Hades and persuaded him earnestly. You don't need to be so anxious. The family still has the ability to protect you, enough to last until you grow up. Hades' attitude was very firm and he shook his head. No, joining the Rock's pirates can divert the attention of the world government. Moreover, with the development and growth of the Rock's pirates, they have become a thorn in the side of the world government. I can also use the Rock's pirates to the power of. As he said this, Hades' eyes flashed with hatred. Besides, my growth rate is still too slow now. Only when I get there can I become stronger quickly. The hands of the world government cannot reach there. The Rock's pirates will not disappear in the next 10 years. There is no place more suitable for shelter and growth than there. After all, there is a group of vicious pirates there, and there is no order at all. Ben still understands the situation of the Rock's pirates, but he doesn't know why Hades has such confidence. Hades' conclusion is not unfounded. Bane has always been paying attention to the development of the Rock's pirates and knows a lot about it. The Rock's pirates are truly terrifying, a concentration camp of monsters, especially their leader Rock's Jibak. At least for now, the kingdom of Kronos cannot be compared with the Rock's pirates. Of course, with the strength of the kingdom of Kronos, the Rock's pirates will also suffer heavy losses. Nowadays, the Rock's pirates are indeed at their peak and have established their dominance in the New World for more than 10 years. The Navy is still silent after that battle. Faced with the expansion of the Rock's pirates, they have retreated step by step. Their influence in the New World has been continuously squeezed, and their scope of activity has also shrunk. Believe me, my father still has influence there, and Mr. Jibek will take care of me. Besides, my mother is also there. It only takes 2 years for me to gain a foothold there. Hades had thought it over beforehand and this was the best choice for him. Looking back on the current situation, Hades was very angry. He said that he left on his own initiative, but in fact he was forced by the situation. The world government somehow got the news of his existence and used its own power to start a rebellion in the kingdom of Kronos, hoping to overthrow the rule of the Tartarus royal family again. There is actually only one main purpose, and that is to kill Hades. Hades had already suffered an assassination a month ago. The agent from the World Government CP organization passed through many barriers and came to a palace. He justly killed the guards and maids guarding the palace, broke into the palace, and beheaded Hades at the risk of death, but that's not the real him, but his substitute. In order to protect Hades, Bane specially trained a substitute for him. Under normal circumstances, Hades is hidden and will not go out easily. Information about him is also completely blocked. This is actually quite hidden, and the existence of the substitute is more like a second layer of protection. Facts have proved that Bane's approach of training a substitute for Hades was very wise. It also sounded the alarm in the hearts of many senior officials in the Kingdom of Kronos. The Royal Intelligence Bureau and the Power of Netherworld were dispatched as soon as possible to conduct an investigation of the entire royal capital. The Kingdom of Kronos is a superpower with a population of 80 million. The total inhabited area of the entire island is 400,000 square kilometers. It also includes 80,000 square kilometers of virgin forest. In this world, it is already a super large island, and can even be said to be land. The Kingdom of Kronos is one of the few kingdoms with a long history, and has been passed down for more than 1,000 years. 60% of the island's land is vast plains, while hills and mountains are mostly concentrated in the virgin forests in the north and the swinging mountains surrounding the northeast. The Kingdom of Kronos is rich in resources and has the largest silver mine in the world today. To be honest, with the power and foundation of the Kingdom of Kronos, the rebellion caused by the world government is just a small fight and can be easily extinguished if you think about it. Moreover, more than half of the New World is now the territory of the Rocks pirates. The Kingdom of Kronos is located in the northern part of the New World and is also in a backward position, just within the active range of the Rocks pirates, but the victory is endless. There is a navy watching eagerly outside, and there is even a naval base to monitor it. He has power but cannot use it. To be precise, he has hidden power. Once it takes action, it represents the intervention of naval power. The navy is the well-deserved overlord of the sea. Even if the Kingdom of Kronos, as a world superpower, has the power to compete with its navy, it will not do this. What's more, there is also the secret power of the world government. Even if they support it, they will only lose, but this is just the worst-case scenario. The Navy and the world government do not dare to have a violent conflict with the Kingdom of Kronos. The world government has already failed once, and besides, it has the Navy and the Rocks pirates as its formidable enemy. As Bane said, everything is just waiting for Hades to grow up, but the world government obviously does not have that much patience. Very early on, the world government focused on the Kingdom of Kronos. After a long period of planning, more than 30 years ago, the world government set off a rebellion within the Kingdom of Kronos. He wants to dismember the Kingdom of Kronos, cultivate a kingdom close to the world government, and plunge the entire island into war to weaken the Kingdom of Kronos. As one of the few superpowers in the world with strong military and economic strength, the Kingdom of Kronos has not become a member of the world government. Facing repeated rejections of the world government's invitations, this is definitely a huge threat to the world government. At that time, the rebellion broke out and covered 1/7 of the territory of the Kingdom of Kronos. The royal family of Tartarus responded quickly, sent troops to suppress the rebellion, and regained a lot of land, but there was still a large area of land occupied by the rebels. Domestic forces colluded with the world government, openly betrayed the Kingdom of Kronos, and established a new regime on the land they occupied, called the Kingdom of Kronos, in an attempt to replace the Kingdom of Kronos. Everyone knows that the Kingdom of Kronos is a tool used by the world government to consume the Kingdom of Kronos. Behind the Kingdom of Kronos, there is the support of the world government, a steady stream of arms and weapons, and food transported by ships. You must know that in the new world with a complex and harsh environment, the transportation of such a large amount of materials requires huge costs, manpower, material resources, and economic losses. The strength of the Kingdom of Kronos is very strong. Under the strong military power, the Kingdom of Kronos can only barely support itself. Chapter 3: The Rebellion Caused by the World Government. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The army has always been firmly controlled by the Tartarus royal family, and there has never been an accident. The core area of the Kingdom of Kronos has not been lost. Facing the Kingdom of Kronos, which reacted and quickly mobilized its troops, the rebels retreated steadily, and the improvised army was completely vulnerable to the kingdom's army. In order to stop the army of the kingdom of Kronos, the world government and the rebel forces spent 2 months and used huge resources to build a super defense line with a length of 18 kilometers and an average height of 20 meters. Thousands of artillery pieces stand on the defense line, and once they get close, they will be baptized by artillery fire, and due to the huge military disadvantage, the world government secretly sent 300,000 army troops to guard the Red Continent, headed by an army general, to resist the counterattack of the kingdom of Kronos and stabilize the land it occupied, despite its geographical, resource and military advantages. With the strong support of the world government, the kingdom of Kronos was unable to break through this terrifying line of defense. In secret, the world government also specially sent agents to sneak into the kingdom of Kronos to assassinate some major figures. The Tartarus royal family had long expected that the world government would use such methods and sent people in advance to protect important personnel in the kingdom. As a superpower that has been inherited for thousands of years, the kingdom of Kronos has a profound heritage that far exceeds that of ordinary kingdoms. Naturally, it has many powerful people, and even has top-level combat power that is not weaker than the general level. In the Holy Land of Mariajoya, each celestial dragon family has a specially cultivated power, which is not controlled by the world government and belongs only to the family. In addition to the apparent power of the kingdom, the Tartarus family also controls a special institution called Hades, which has an elite force called the Dark Guard. As the name suggests, it is a force in the dark. Each one has been strictly selected and tempered, and is loyal to the royal family of Tartarus. They were all orphans collected by the Tartarus royal family from home, the New World, and all over the world, and raised them since childhood. They became members of the Hades, a power controlled by the royal family. Some are recruited directly from within the kingdom. The one who stands out among the many secret guards is the Hades guards. There are 24 in total. Protect the Tartarus royal family, or remove obstacles for the Tartarus royal family, specifically targeting the world government CP0. In addition, the Hades and Dark Guards also have a more powerful commander-in-chief who controls all the power of hell. Corresponding to this is the Netherworld, who possesses the intelligence power of Hades. Netherworld and Hell, one controls the intelligence, the other controls the power, plus the intelligence team they jointly control. They together form the huge organizational structure of Hades. In addition to developing intelligence and agents, other people who are not suitable to stay in Hades join the army, enter various industries and various institutions of the kingdom, and contribute to the Tartarus royal family's control of the kingdom of Kronos. After all, not everyone has that kind of talent. Even so, after training and being placed in the army, they can become elite soldiers and have a better future. Therefore, the power of the Tartarus royal family has always been very stable. Even if something goes wrong, it will be suppressed quickly, and more often it will be noticed as soon as it emerges. It is impossible for the world government to send out all its forces to deal with the kingdom of Kronos. Faced with this kind of unjust war, actions that cannot be put on the surface, even if the Navy knows about it, cannot participate in it. Unlike the Navy, the Army has very little news on the sea. It has been guarding the Red Continent. It has not seen many people and can whitewash it and pretend to be rebels. Once the Navy is involved, it cannot be concealed, which means that the world government is obviously involved. The Tartarus royal family does not want to waste its strength in a too big war with the world government and affect domestic stability, whether it is transporting supplies, arms, food, or maintaining the confrontation between the kingdom of Kronos and the kingdom of Kronos. A large amount of money is consumed. At least 8 billion baileys every year, because what the world government needs is for the kingdom of Kronos to gain a foothold under the pressure of the kingdom of Kronos, so that the real purpose of dismembering the kingdom of Kronos can be achieved. The creation of a super line of defense alone is an astronomical figure. Moreover, the scale of the war between the two countries is very large. Far beyond the wars of those small countries in the world, the world government has a strong foundation, but it cannot defeat the kingdom of Kronos, because this is a new world. The time and cost of transportation are far greater than those in the kingdom of Kronos. The kingdom of Kronos has a vast plain, is itself a major food exporter, and has not been cut off from the outside world. The Tartarus royal family will often send people to cut off the supplies sent by the world government, whether it is to rob or sink cargo ships. Therefore, the cost of world government may be much greater than expected. As long as it continues to consume, the world government will one day be unable to hold on. After all, this is the new world, not the four seas and the great sea routes where the world government has greater control. Moreover, the kingdom of Kronos can make mistakes because they still have hidden power and have enough strength and resources to fight against the world government, but not the world government. At that time, the lost land will naturally return to the embrace of the kingdom of Kronos. The world government can no longer stop, and there are many forces and participating countries that are secretly paying attention to it. Once it stops, it means that the investment in the past has been wasted. It is also a huge blow to the prestige of the world government. In this situation, the world government and the kingdom of Kronos also came to a stalemate. The world government wants to help the kingdom of Kronos expand its territory. After all, the current land is too small compared to the kingdom of Kronos and is not of the same size at all. The kingdom of Kronos does not want to suffer too much losses and wants to consume the world government like this. Therefore, relying on the strong comprehensive strength of the kingdom of Kronos, a large number of traps were laid out, with terrifying firepower. Lock the armies of the kingdom of Kronos and the world government firmly within the defense line built heavily by the world government. The world government's defense line has instead become a cage that prevents their external expansion. This situation has lasted for more than 10 years. It wasn't until Crown Prince Jaeger returned from overseas that things changed. Tartarus Jaeger, the father of Hades and the brother of King Bane, he is also a legendary figure in this sea, and his legend is still left in the sea to this day. In order to solve the dilemma of the kingdom at that time, when the two sides were in confrontation, Jaeger, who was still the crown prince at the time, took the initiative to go to sea for training, and quickly grew up with his terrifying qualifications and the top superhuman devil fruit, the death fruit, and he soon became known as the god of death. Chapter 4 Jaeger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. More than 20 years ago, Jaeger hid his identity when he went to sea. After gaining absolute strength, he returned to the kingdom of Kronos. During this period, the kingdom of Kronos had already collected a large amount of intelligence on the rebel forces. Jaeger took action directly, with overwhelming and domineering strength, in the land of the kingdom of Kronos. The army general was unable to escape and was violently killed in a head-on confrontation with Jaeger. It is always the strong who determines the direction of war. With the death of the army general, the investment of the world government was in vain, and the kingdom of Kronos completely collapsed. The army, which had grown to 500,000 in more than 10 years, was captured by the kingdom after nearly half of it was massacred. The rebel forces were easily executed, and the lost territory returned to the embrace of the kingdom of Kronos. Jaeger's identity was inevitably exposed and he became a thorn in the side of the world government. However, he did not return to the kingdom of Kronos to inherit the throne. Before his identity was exposed, after years of growth, Jaeger was already a well-known pirate on the sea. Next came the most glorious moment. Jaeger met Rox D. Jibak during the adventure, and later became one of the original founders of the Rox Pirates. Death God Jaeger is not a good person. The world government suffered heavy losses, including the navy, which was ordered by the world government to assist the army. The name Death has become a nightmare for many navies. 2 naval fortresses in the New World were destroyed, and no one survived. In the early days of the establishment of the Rox Pirates, they were not as famous as they are now. The world government controls the world's public opinion and can limit the spread of news. Hades was also born in the first year after the establishment of the Rox Pirates. At that time, Jaeger was almost 40 years old and his mother was less than 20 years old. It can be said that like the future Roger, the old cow eats the young grass. Today is the year 1469 of the Hyuan calendar. 8 years ago, when Hades was 4 years old, during an operation to annihilate a country, Jaeger fell into a trap set by the world government and the navy. They were besieged by 2 naval admirals, 12 lieutenant generals, 10,000 elite navy soldiers, and 18 CP-0 agents. The earth-shattering battle lasted for 2 days and 2 nights. The entire island was destroyed and disappeared from the map. When Rox got the news and arrived, it was already too late, and he was intercepted by Navy Marshal Brack and another General Cyborg Kong on the way. Although Rox was powerful, he had no choice if the Navy wanted to delay, and the news was too sudden, so he had no time to gather the power of the Rox Pirates. In the end, Jaeger died in the battle, and the world government and Navy also suffered heavy losses. 1 admiral died and 1 was injured. 8 vice admirals died, only 5 CP0 agents survived, and all 10,000 elite Navy soldiers were wiped out. Marine soldiers are basically cannon fodder, used as disposable items to drain Jaeger's physical strength. The lethality of the death fruit has been developed to its extreme in Jaeger's hands, not to mention Jaeger's body like a fierce god. The three-color domination has reached its peak, and he is the world's top powerhouse with no shortcomings. It is precisely because of such heavy losses that the Navy has been taking a breather and regaining its strength over the years, and the world government has also fallen silent. Only then can the Rock's pirates develop safely. The New World has been relatively peaceful in recent years, compared to the past. As the son of Jaeger, how could Hades not be a thorn in the side of the world government? Eliminating the roots is the best way to prevent future troubles. They never want to see Hades become the next Jaeger. Originally, the kingdom of Kronos had returned to peace, but in the past 2 years, the world government has made a comeback again, setting off rebellion within the kingdom. There are many reasons for this, and he is one of them. In his previous life, he was born into a top family in the Magic City and owned a fortune worth trillions. The development of the family is controlled by his elder brothers and sisters, and he shoulders the important responsibility of the family's reproduction and growth. He even made the bold statement that I would give birth to 100 children, born at the top of the pyramid. He didn't need to work hard at all, but his kidneys were a little tired. Unfortunately, he only accomplished a quarter of his goal. After sleeping with 12 homeless girls one night, he returned to his mother's womb and came to this familiar yet unfamiliar world. I don't know how many have won the bid. With such a family background, Hades thought that there was no need to work hard as in the previous life, and when he planned to complete his goals in the previous life in another world, he did not expect that such a change would happen. Originally he could have worked hard, but there was no need. This was completely different from him being forced to work hard. If it weren't for the world government, none of this would have happened. He had already made up his mind that he would come back with revenge sooner or later. In this case, I won't stop you. You have to remember that you are the successor of the kingdom of Kronos and the future of the Tartarus family. Nothing is more important than you. Ben had already expected it, knowing that Hades would not change his mind so easily, so he patted Hades on the shoulder and said seriously, "Titan will follow you. Zoro can be trained more appropriately by staying in the kingdom. As a superpower, it naturally needs general-level combat forces to guard it in order to resist the prying eyes of the world government. Only in this way can we create a pure land in the chaotic new world to resist those ferocious pirates. A fertile land cannot be defended without sufficient strength. Isn't anyone eyeing the kingdom of Kronos? But it just can't be done. Zoro and Titan are both the leaders of this generation in the kingdom of Kronos. One is the top genius and the other is the top monster. They are both the pillars of the future of the empire. Titan was born with strange strength, possessed a monster-like physique, and had an astonishing appetite. Each meal required food for hundreds of people. He is only 14 years old, 2 years older than Hades, and has already reached a height of nearly 5 meters. Next, it will not be difficult to grow to 8 meters. When he was 6 years old, he accidentally ate the phantom beast Tautai fruit, a top-notch devil fruit that perfectly suited his talent. Nowadays, I am eating all the time, with potential that is visible to the naked eye. He can be regarded as the strongest candidate for the commander-in-chief of Hell. Once he grows up, he can take over the position of leader of Hell. However, due to personality reasons, Titan was not suitable for hiding in the dark. In addition, the leader of Hell was now in his prime, and the next generation also had successors who showed sufficient potential, so they gave up this plan. In order to cultivate his loyalty, he was directly arranged to follow Hades. Zoro is a swordsman genius, 3 years older than Hades. He awakened the Haki of knowledge and color when he was less than 10 years old and possesses amazing talent. The current pillar of the empire is Zofi, the general of the empire and Zoro's father. In addition to strength, Zoro also needs to learn knowledge about commanding troops and war. Not surprisingly, he will inherit his father's legacy in the future and is now a small commander capable of commanding thousands of troops. Originally there were 2 pillars of the empire, but the other one died in battle together with Jaeger under the siege of the world government and the navy. This is very similar to Titan. He also went to sea with Hades' father Jaeger and gradually grew up. Chapter 5 Death Fruit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In that battle, The world government and the navy targeted Jaeger, but Jaeger was not the only one, led the prestigious Death Fleet. In addition to the strong man who went to sea with Jaeger, there were also many of Jaeger's men and followers, all of whom were strong among the pirates, a powerful legion including 2 top combatants. Otherwise, it would be difficult for Jaeger alone to persevere in such a terrifying lineup. But later on, the myth spread on the sea turned into a battle involving only Jaeger. The kingdom of Kronos has always had its twin pillars, one light and one dark, as important forces protecting the kingdom. The person in the light is naturally the general of the kingdom, and the person in the dark is the Hell Commander-in-Chief who controls the elite troops of the Tartarus royal family. As for the Commander-in-Chief who controls the important intelligence force Styx. Strength is not the main thing. It can be high or low. At least it is not weaker than the Navy's elite lieutenant generals, and most of them are quasi-generals. In many cases, the role was filled by elite members of the Tartarus royal family. Whenever a new generation rises, the strong men of the older generation will abdicate and become the hidden power of the kingdom. The strong man who was regarded as one of the candidates for the Commander-in-Chief of Hell died together with the Crown Prince, which was a huge blow to the kingdom of Kronos. For thousands of years, the kingdom of Kronos has never lost 2 top combatants at once, and one of them is a Crown Prince, possessing the top bloodline of the Tartarus family, the monster with the best physique and potential, destined to reach the top. At first, a huge controversy broke out within the Tartarus family, and they wanted to take revenge on the world government and the navy, but in the end they suppressed it after rational considerations. Because they still have Hades, this is also the reason why the kingdom of Kronos is relatively low-key today, and it should be low-key. Finally, this is left to you, and it can only be yours. With it, there should be no need to worry about the Rock's pirates, and it will also stop some people's thoughts. Tartarus Bane said, taking out a prepared box from his arms and slowly opening it in front of Hades. What caught his eye was a pear-shaped dead grey devil fruit with strange lines on its surface, as if it exuded a deathly aura. There is also a booklet under the fruit. This is. Although he had never seen the devil fruit, Hades already had a guess in his mind. That's right, the death fruit. It's Jaeger's ability, Hades. After your father died, everyone was looking for this reborn devil fruit. The Navy was looking for it, the world government was looking for it, the Rock's pirates were looking for it, and other forces on the sea were also looking for it. Perhaps due to the blessing of fate, with Jaeger's spirit in the sky, we finally got this devil fruit. Although the words were calm, Hades could feel the hardship involved and did not know how much it cost. Thinking of the sudden violent actions of the world government, Hades realized that it was probably the reason for this devil fruit. The world government has been severely damaged, and it is impossible for it to continue to cause trouble within the kingdom of Kronos. The kingdom of Kronos is not afraid of the world government losing many agents, it's just that he may not arouse the fear of the world government. The severely damaged world government and navy are not willing to offend Kronos, a superpower with extraordinary influence in the new world. Besides, Hades is still just a child, so they have enough time to plan and calculate. There will still be a chance to deal with the kingdom of Kronos in the future, not less than this time, and the Rock's pirates are what the world government and the navy need to deal with most. However, it's different with the addition of the death fruit. The Rock's pirates may have been involved in this process, and his mother also played a role in the fight for the death fruit. There will probably be a fight in the dark, but this is not important anymore. Hades is a little bit ready to move, and his body bursts out of desire for this devil fruit from his heart. I don't know if it is a psychological effect. Besides, this is indeed a top-notch superhuman devil fruit. How could Hades miss it? I saw Hades reaching out his hand, grabbing the death fruit, opening his mouth and swallowing it in one gulp. Knowing that devil fruits are disgusting, he naturally doesn't want to taste the taste, even if he doesn't know what it tastes like. Ben watched quietly, then his expression suddenly changed, his figure flashed, and he appeared more than 10 meters away from Hades, as the current king of the kingdom of Kronos. Although Bane cannot compare with his brother Jaeger, he is not a weakling. Himself, just now, he had already felt a threat. With his eyes fixed on Hades, he could already feel a dangerous power bursting out of Hades' body. I saw Hades' body, and a creepy death-gray gas could not help but emit, slowly spreading to the surroundings. This kind of power is so familiar that it can be detected from a distance, a military base outside the royal capital. The kingdom's general Zuofi suddenly raised his head, feeling this power, and turned his eyes to the palace. His hands trembled with excitement, and tears flashed in his eyes. Your Highness, Hades only felt the power in his body pouring out continuously. He could control this strange power at will without hurting himself, the strange power of death. If there is no other power to offset it, or domineering block it, the physical body alone cannot resist it, and life will wither and decay easily. A strong body will become like paper under the power of death. Later on, he can also rely on his domineering internal destruction skills and the fruit's ability to drive the power of death directly into the enemy's body. Although the power of death will be weakened by the domineering force during this process, the effect is still powerful. The inside of the human body is very fragile, and there is a big gap compared to the outside. The death fruits continue to erode their bodies, and if they add up, their advantages will continue to expand. If you are weak, you will lose your life. Organ failure and loss of life are all effects of the power of death. Chapter 6 Relatives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After that battle, although there was still one general and 4 lieutenant generals, there were still several CP0 agents alive. Even if he survives, it can be said to be useless, and his lifespan will be seriously lost. Weak people are less resistant to the power of death because their domineering power is weak, while those with strong strength are the key targets of Jaeger. It is said that the naval admiral suffered severe aging after that battle, and his physical functions declined rapidly, and could not be maintained. He retired within 2 years. Death from heart failure in 2 years is unimaginable for a top powerhouse. Even at an advanced age, he still has terrifying vitality that far exceeds that of ordinary people. Other parts can evenly distribute the damage to the body through the return of life. The heart is very difficult, and the even more deadly thing is the brain. Moreover, the return of life is not omnipotent. Under the continuous erosion of the power of death, the decline of the body cannot be reversed. What's serious is that potential has been exhausted, let alone recovered. From this we can see the terrifying power of the death fruit, the erosion of the fruits of death, the plunder of life, the ultimate death. All things are constantly moving, not just living things, but even dead things have their lifespan. Because matter is made of molecules, and molecules are constantly moving. This was Hades's point of view in his previous life. In this world, the opposite is listening to the breathing of all things. Everything has its own breath. The delicate ceramic tiles beneath him were constantly corroded by the power of death, and their functions weakened. Hard things become soft and brittle, elastic things become stiff, and vital things become corroded. When they reach a certain level, they will be decomposed into dust and ashes, and then be eliminated by the power of death. But soon, the power of death stopped spreading and maintained a certain range. Then it was slowly recovered and began to be gradually controlled by Hades, allowing them to return to his body. He clenched his fist tightly and felt the powerful force carefully. Hades knew the power of the death fruit very well. After all, it was his father's power, and he had witnessed his father using the devil fruit power many times. Naturally, they will not be confused about their own abilities at first like those who are lucky enough to eat devil fruits. In a short period of time, Hades was able to use his abilities simply. The power of death circulated in his body, slowly dissipating, surrounding his body. Hades was very surprised to have such a power in his body. Just one fruit gave him an ability. Really coming into this world and experiencing it personally, it still feels very magical. The flow of the power of death did not affect his clothes, which he found miraculous. The ability of the death fruit could be controlled in a small area around him. In the eyes of Hades, this is already a field. But this scope is very small. The gray mist disappeared, and the tiles under Hades' feet were dim in color and shattered when stepped on, turning into powder. If it takes a while, there won't even be any powder left, and it will be directly annihilated by the power of death. This is a note left by your father. It contains experience in developing the death fruit, as well as experience in domineering and physical skills. It should be of some help to you. Ben walked forward with the box, took out the small book of notes, and handed it to Hades. This was left by Jaeger. He did not expect that Hades needed it, and he did not expect that his children would inherit his ability. This may be a fateful decision, and Hades finally embarked on the same path as him. Hades didn't need this thing in the past, but it will be important to Hades next. Not to mention the development experience of the death fruit, Hades has not yet awakened the armed Haki. As for the Haki of knowledge, he was awakened when Hades was born, and has the ability to perceive emotions in a wide range of Haki. As he grows and becomes stronger, his vision will continue to expand, and the covered area will appear in his mind, as if he has a god's perspective. The Overlord's domineering energy was stimulated and exploded after the death of his father when he was 4 years old, and he is now able to control it skillfully. In the Rocks Pirates, there is no teacher to carefully teach you how to practice. It all relies on fighting and understanding by yourself. What is beneficial is that it allows you to get in touch with those profound things. If you don't know it, you will never be able to awaken in your life. The Rocks Pirates are that kind of platform, giving countless wild children an upward path. Therefore, the top pirates in the sea in the future will basically come from the Rocks Pirates. Rocks is arrogant and extremely confident. He never hides it and does not worry that others will surpass him if they learn from it. He is such a person, and it is precisely because of this that he established the Rocks Pirates, which is so powerful in the sea. After taking the manual, Hades looked outside the hall and said, "Uncle, help me collect more devil fruits." "What's the use?" Hades. Ben was a little confused. Hades had already eaten the devil fruit, so why did he collect so many devil fruits? "Are you going to train your subordinates?" That the kingdom of Kronos naturally has this ability, whether it is financial resources or influence. In the dark world of the New World, they also have contact with underground businesses. I will eventually come back to expand my Tartarus family. The number of members in our family is still too small. Although I will establish my own power, except for blood relatives and a few people, I will not accept others. Will trust. Hades said calmly, no matter in the previous life or in this life, the only people he could trust were his relatives. With the ambition of the previous life, expand your own bloodline. The same goes for Titan and Zoro. They are retainers and naturally his family, but the most trustworthy thing is one's own blood relatives. His 2 lifetime experiences made him particularly close to his family. The current era is more than 50 years from the beginning of the plot, and he has enough time to expand his family. Ben was stunned for a moment, not understanding what Hades meant. It took a long time to react. I didn't expect Hades to have such a plan, and I couldn't help but applaud in my heart. How can you refuse such a request? The growth of the family is what the elders want to see. If it was Hades's bloodline, many outstanding descendants would definitely be born. Moreover, as Hades said, the number of members of the Tartarus family is indeed somewhat small. The total number of members of the Tartarus family that has been inherited so far is only in their early 60s, although each of them is an elite. It is not a good thing for the development of the family. If there were more family members, the kingdom of Kronos would not be so easily revolted by the world government. This also allowed him to see that although the rule of the Tartarus family was stable, it was not impeccable. He was also wondering whether he should urge the family members to produce more offspring. After all, he was currently the patriarch of the Tartarus family before Hades returned. Although it hasn't happened yet, Ben has already begun to prepare for the worst. The more family members there are, the greater the distance between them will be in the end. He knows the methods of the world government. Chapter 7 Hell. You are listening at novelfull.audio. For hundreds of years, the influence of the world government has expanded step by step in this way, which is recorded in the history of the family's secret vault. Before that, he must definitely help Hades stabilize the situation and avoid accidents. No problem, leave it to me. It will draw attention to the better devil fruits. There are some in the kingdom's treasury. The Royal Chamber of Commerce, Hades, and the underground world will also collect a large number of devil fruits. Although devil fruits are rare, you can always find them on the ocean if you want to. As long as there is money and channels, especially channels in the underground world, many devil fruits will flow into the underground world every year. This is a threshold, and once you cross it, it's a new level. Devil fruits are legendary treasures to many, but to some, they are not uncommon. The death fruit that Jaeger ate was once a devil fruit stored in the treasury of the kingdom of Kronos. The kingdom will also collect devil fruits from time to time, whether it is for information or to train subordinates. However, you have to work harder next. As a child of the Tartarus family, how can you eat those ordinary devil fruits? The kingdom is a huge machine. Once it starts running, the energy generated is very terrifying. especially for a superpower like the Kingdom of Kronos. The rebellion within the kingdom is just a small fight. After the rebellion more than 30 years ago, the Kingdom of Kronos has already had experience in handling it. It was even expected that the world government would start another rebellion if it was not dealt with completely at the beginning, so plans were made in advance. The rebels with only 100,000 troops are undoubtedly ants shaking the tree in front of the Kingdom of Kronos with 3 million troops stationed there. Even the original army of 500,000 people was no match for the Kingdom of Kronos, let alone a mere 100,000. Domestic public opinion did not take them seriously at all, and most of them scolded them. The kingdom finally returned to peace, and now they are causing trouble again. There is also turmoil among the rebels, and there are many people close to the Tartarus royal family. In this case, it is difficult for the rebels to expand and there is no soil for them to survive. The right place and the right people are all here in the Kingdom of Kronos. Even as long as the Tartarus royal family is stable, the rebels themselves will be unable to hold on and collapse. What's more, the Kingdom of Kronos is no longer a few decades ago. War will catalyze economic development, increase productivity, and greatly improve national strength. Especially in the past 2 years, the military strength of the Kingdom of Kronos has increased significantly, and the world government has also felt threatened by it. However, based on the lessons learned last time, the world government's investment this time will be much greater than last time. After all, the Kingdom of Kronos is already vigilant, and the price to pay for the same rebellion would be higher. Many of them had the influence of Hades, and the assassination of Hades was also to avoid making the same mistakes again. The operation of the kingdom has not been affected in any way. In the huge country, the rebels are only entrenched in the corners of the virgin forest. The areas where there were previous rebellions were directly guarded by heavy troops, and all forces were purged, preventing the world government from launching rebellions in the same places. It can only be changed to another place. It is the secret hand left by the world government. However, with the power of the Kingdom of Kronos, which was well prepared, the rebels were forced into a corner in a short period of time. There is a shortage of supplies, and all contacts with all parties are blocked by the kingdom, and they can only rely on external supplies from the world government. To maintain the survival and development of the rebels, the world government needs to pay a lot of materials, including weapons and food, as well as necessary daily necessities. All added up, it requires a lot of money. Although the world government has a great cause, it has consumed a lot of money over a long period of time. If the results are not seen, the world government may give up on its own. After all, it is not worth it. The background of the world government is unfathomable, but don't think about it too scary. A large number of forces in the world government cannot be moved. They are guarded by the world government or are controlled by the world government. Compared to more than 30 years ago, the Tartarus royal family is sitting tight on the Diaeutae because they know that the peace in the new world will not last long. Once the Rocks pirates move into action, the power of terror will sweep across the entire world, and the world government can no longer focus on the Kingdom of Kronos. All investments will fall into the arms of the Kingdom of Kronos, and Hades' special domineering power of knowledge gave them enough confidence that when the time comes, they will not leave as many secrets for the world government as they did last time. As the crown prince, Hades has his own palace. The bright and huge floor-to-ceiling windows provide a pleasant breeze and pleasant scenery. Sitting on the sofa, Hades looked at the information in his hands, which were all information from the new world and around the world. This was presented by the staff team within Hades' prison. After sorting it out, the staff group is an important organization within Hades. It is affiliated with Netherworld and is the center of intelligence power. Hades has intelligence forces all over the world. It is an important force for the Tartarus royal family to understand the world and avoid falling behind in certain important events and intelligence. Although they have not yet succeeded to the throne, the Tartarus royal family has begun to exercise Hades' abilities, in order to successfully take over the Kingdom of Kronos in the future. After the royal family of Tartarus recognized Hades' abilities, they allowed Hades to come into contact with Hades at the age of 8. Now he has almost completely taken over, in order to understand the intelligence of the Kingdom of Kronos and the rest of the world. Distribution of world government personnel within the kingdom. The rookie pirates Roger pirates escaped from the hands of Navy Captain Garp. Mobilization of Navy forces, analysis of future layout in the new world. The Rocks pirates' power growth in the past 6 months. The future core cadres of the Rock's pirates, Shiki, the strange man Edward Newgate, that the situation within the kingdom needs to be kept on top of at all times. The intelligence about the Navy and the Rock's pirates is what Hades has been paying attention to. This is the power that can truly affect the world structure, and Roger, Garp, Shurji, Edward Newgate and other famous figures in the future are the ones Hades specially requested to pay attention to. Now they are just emerging. Chapter 8 Royal Chamber of Commerce. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hades didn't need to do anything, just understand that it was still a little far away from him. What he really needs to care about is the development of the kingdom, which is the foundation of his future. As a man of 2 generations, while the kingdom's political power cannot be reformed for the time being, Hades' most important priority is commercial trade, political exchanges with other kingdoms, and the development of science and technology. There is no need for Hades to give guidance in politics. There are many kingdoms close to the kingdom of Kronos based on commercial trade alone. The kingdom of Kronos has strong economic strength and has 10 adult island tortoises over 10,000 meters tall. In this era before prices skyrocketed wildly, raising an island turtle alone would cost 2 billion walkers per year, or 4 billion baileys if converted into baileys. Walker is the local currency of the kingdom of Kronos and is issued by the Royal Bank of the kingdom. Thanks to the huge silver mines in the country, Walker is directly linked to silver and only circulates within the kingdom with a few kingdoms that have close cooperation. Most outsiders still use Pele. The world government will not care about this. Many powerful countries will have their own currencies in order not to be economically restricted by the world government. As long as Bailey remains the mainstream, these island turtles can cross the sea at will, cross the windless zone, travel to all directions, and travel through storms. They are not afraid of the Sea Kings. Every time, he can bring a large amount of resources and products unique to the kingdom of Kronos and the new world to the 4 seas, and start trade with various kingdoms in the 4 seas. Each island turtle is a movable trading island. In addition to the trade relations with those kingdoms, every time it arrives in the 4 seas, it will attract countless merchants to do business on the island. There will also be tourists from all over the sea who come to the island to buy goods from all over the world. The island turtle carries a small town on its shell, and just the rent from the shops in the town can make the kingdom of Kronos a huge profit. After returning from the 4 seas, the island turtle will also transport a large amount of materials from the 4 seas back to the New World for sale in the New World. Looking at the entire world, there is only one kingdom of Kronos. It's not that other forces don't have this ability, but it's just not necessary. The kingdom of Kronos is located in the New World and has this need. For countries in the 4 seas and the first half of the Great Sea Route, it is enough to use merchant ships for transportation. In today's era, the sea is relatively stable and not as turbulent as it will be in the future. Moreover, the cost of cultivating island turtles is not something that ordinary forces can afford. The cost of cultivating island turtles every year can buy a country. This does not include the investment of island turtles before they reach adulthood. What's more, there is a risk of being plundered, which requires the kingdom to have strong military strength, but it is not as dangerous as imagined. The island turtles' movement routes are relatively safe routes, close to those kingdoms that have trade relations with the kingdom of Kronos. At the same time, naval protection from all over the world will be hired. The governors from all over the world would not refuse the huge employment capital. Therefore, it is the pirate death god Jaeger who is hostile to the navy, not the kingdom of Kronos. After all, the kingdom of Kronos can be said to be the financial backer of the world's navy and not. Many people know Jaeger's true identity, and the kingdom of Kronos has never made it public. At least most people would not have thought that the god of death Jaeger would be the crown prince of a country. At most, they would think that the kingdom of Kronos was the birthplace of Jaeger. Therefore, in the eyes of outsiders, there is no reason for the navy to take action against the kingdom of Kronos. The kingdom of Kronos has special technology that can tame the island turtle. It can control the island turtle to dive into the sea and create a sealed space inside the island turtle's body. There is no need to worry about seawater intrusion or cargo damage. A super large glass cover can cover the entire town to prevent it from being eroded by seawater. The world's most cutting-edge glass products come from the kingdom of Kronos, with the most advanced technology and materials, and even cannonballs are difficult to break. Able to provide protection in times of danger and then dive directly into the sea to escape. It's not that no one wants to kill the island turtle, it's just that they can't do it. this kind of technology is the foundation for the Kingdom of Kronos to expand trade across the world. The trading partner kingdom is the first insurance, and the Four Seas Navy is the second insurance. This second layer of insurance alone is difficult to break. The power of the Four Seas navies today is not comparable to that of the future. The governors of each sea area are ambassadors to the territory, holding the rank of lieutenant general, which is comparable to the power and status of a naval admiral. The Shuhai faction also has a significant influence in the Navy headquarters. The Navy is the well-deserved overlord of this sea. It may be somewhat denied in the New World today, but it is indeed true in the Four Seas. In addition to this, the third layer of protection is the elite troops of the Kingdom of Kronos guarding the island turtles. Each troop has 3 commanders and has a strength no less than that of a rear admiral. Just like the Four Seas are the foundation of the Navy, with a huge base, it can continuously provide reserve force for the Navy. This can be illustrated by the fact that most of the top leaders of the Navy come from the Four Seas. The Kingdom of Kronos is a country with a large population and can train talents more efficiently than the Navy. Among the 3 million troops of the Kingdom of Kronos, there are only 6 generals just below the General Zophi, and there are a total of 32 commanders. The war with the world government does not affect the trade of the Kingdom of Kronos to the Four Seas. It only has a slight impact on the New World, but it is not particularly big. On the contrary, war can promote the enhancement of the overall strength of the kingdom's army. Thanks to the war, the kingdom's investment in military expenditures and hell has greatly increased, and there is motivation only when there is pressure. Over the years, in addition to its top-level combat power, the overall strength of the Kingdom of Kronos has increased. The kingdom has 5 major royal chambers of commerce, all of which belong to the Tartarus royal family. Most of the various industries within the kingdom are dependent on the 5 major royal chambers of commerce, and only the 5 major chambers of commerce have this ability. In addition, there are many forces in the New World that cooperate with the 5 major merchants of the Kingdom of Kronos, and they also need to use the unique channels of the Kingdom of Kronos to transport goods. Although the Red Port of the world government can also be passed through, in the New World with many pirates, the danger is too high, and pirates wandering on the sea often have no scruples. There is also the first half of a great shipping route in the middle. The tolls of the world government are also much higher than the transportation fees of the Kingdom of Kronos. Rather than being sucked by the world government, it is better to get closer to the Kingdom of Kronos, which has long-standing credibility. What's more, if you go directly to Sihai, you can save a lot of time by going through the Kingdom of Kronos, and it will be many times safer. The Kingdom of Kronos can be said to be the link between many forces in the New World and the Four Seas, and it contains huge interests. If the world government is really serious, they will not sit idly by, because the Kingdom of Kronos is the core of this interest group. However, the Kingdom of Kronos was not greatly affected, and its foundation and rule were not shaken at all, so they did not participate, but secretly, there are many people who hinder the world government, and many unexpected losses come from them. There are many people who dare to take action against the world government. In this sea, there are many ways to put themselves aside to prevent their information from leaking. Just blame it on the Kingdom of Kronos. Anyway, the Kingdom of Kronos is doing the same thing. Among them, the first Royal Chamber of Commerce is in charge of trade with the New World, and the other 4 Royal Chambers of Commerce are in charge of trade in the Four Seas. Leaving aside the costs, the annual benefits are huge. In addition to earning a large amount of Bailey, he also exchanged countless scarce materials for the Kingdom of Kronos to provide for the development of the Kingdom of Kronos. At the same time, the materials obtained by the first Royal Chamber of Commerce from all over the world were traded to other forces in the New World and flowed into the black market and the underground world. Therefore, the Kingdom of Kronos has huge influence all over the world, and every trading partner is a potential ally of the Kingdom of Kronos. The kingdom will often send officials to visit and communicate with these kingdoms to maintain close relations. Chapter 9 Kingdom Technology. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Science and technology are primary productive forces. If the kingdom wants to grow stronger, what needs to be developed is naturally science and technology. This is what Hades attaches most importance to. The Kingdom of Kronos has not been affected by the world government's suppression of sea technology. For these superpowers, the impact of world government is extremely limited. The Kingdom of Kronos has a strong technological foundation, powerful artillery, more accurate guns, and longer-range guns. All of this is an important foundation for the kingdom of Kronos to stand on the sea, resist pirates, and suppress rebels. For this reason, the kingdom of Kronos already has a dedicated research base. Within the kingdom, there are many scientists who are powerful in various fields. Some people have even developed wireless communication technology that is not affected by the unique magnetic field of the entire island of the kingdom of Kronos and does not require the use of telephone bugs for independent communication. This is a top scientist named Nikola Tesla. He is a well-deserved giant in the field of electromagnetic machinery in the kingdom of Kronos and even the entire world. He was praised by Hades as a godlike man, and his research in the electromagnetic field has completely reached the realm of theosophy. The so-called wireless communication technology is just a small technology developed by Tesla a long time ago. However, although this communication technology opened up new fields, it was not taken seriously at the time. After all, there are already telephone bugs that can serve as an alternative in communications. There were people who wanted to study communication technology, but they ended up getting stuck in the chaotic magnetic field of this world. Only the phone bug's biomagnetic field can independently establish contact. Wireless communication technology is a difficult and top-level technology. The core is to establish independent connections in a chaotic magnetic field, which is a complete fight against nature. You must know that in some particularly chaotic and strange sea areas, even the communication of telephone bugs will fail and be affected. As long as it is processed, wireless communication technology can completely realize communication in these places. Hades knew the great prospects of this technology. If an independent communication network could be established, it could cover the entire kingdom of Kronos. Creating a product similar to a phone can completely replace the function of the phone bug, then block the phone bug signal. The kingdom of Kronos can be built like an iron barrel, and no information can be leaked from the inside of the kingdom, because the signal of the phone bug is blocked and cannot be used. Communications within the kingdom can be replaced with specially crafted products. The special environment of this sea means that the information network can only cover the kingdom of Kronos and part of the surrounding sea areas. In farther seas and islands, the magnetic field will change again, unless the communication network is re-established according to the special local magnetic field, but it is not necessary. This is what Hades expected. The current development of the kingdom is far from enough in Hades' view. After contacting Hades and understanding the domestic situation in the kingdom of Kronos, Hades immediately applied to form the Royal Academy of Sciences. In this regard, the royal family will naturally provide full support. The original research base was directly integrated into the newly established Royal Academy of Sciences, with the material and financial support provided by the kingdom of Kronos. Weapons, missiles, submarines, communication networks, telephones adapted to the communication network and other related projects have been established one after another. In addition, there are more advanced laser cannons, electromagnetic guns, human body enhancement, nutrition cabins and other projects. Although the emergence of Vegapunk was the beginning of the real technological explosion in this sea, and the technological level continued to rise, there was no denying that this sea had a sufficient technological foundation. Like laser cannon, it is a technology that is foreseeable and completely achievable today, especially when the kingdom of Kronos has a strong technological foundation and top scientists. Under the leadership of Hades, the Tartarus royal family extended invitations to many well-known scientists in the country, as well as scientists from all over the world who have demonstrated unique talents in many fields. With sufficient financial support, most of them will not refuse invitations, and in order to eliminate future troubles, the kingdom of Kronos can also bring their families to the kingdom of Kronos and give them generous treatment. The 5 royal chambers of commerce are connected to the 4 seas, and combined with the intelligence power of hell, they extend like tentacles to various kingdoms and islands. Gather scientists with sufficient talent, in order not to alert the enemy and attract the attention of the world government. All this was done in secret, especially the future country with strong scientific and technological strength. Due to the world government's restrictions on sea technology, a naval fortress was specially built on a small island near the future country. I kept staring and it was a bit troublesome to get in and out. In the field of science and technology, future country is undoubtedly ahead of the entire world, and even has simple artificial intelligence technology. More advanced artificial intelligence has even been developed in the past, but not many people know about it. Many scientists gathered together to study the fields and things that Hades wanted them to study. Various prospects and concepts, especially the proposed concept of satellites, have aroused the interest of many scientists. Having been a man for 2 generations, Hades has enough insight and knows how to develop to make the country stronger. We know what direction to develop and what industry to develop, but few people have always thought about it. The world government suppression of technological development is also one of them. In the invention and creation of weapons, Hades can also make many suggestions. They are weapons enthusiasts, not military fans, but they have some understanding of various weapons. This was also one of the first projects the Royal Academy of Sciences began to study after its establishment. As long as the concept is proposed, for those talented scientists, many things can be studied as long as they understand the function, like automatic rifles. The Kingdom of Kronos has sufficient technical support, and weapons like Gatling have already appeared in this world. The only drawback is that the cost is too high because of the lack of adequate technical support. Hades knows that all of this is based on a strong industrial system and requires sufficiently sophisticated equipment, such as machine tools and lathes. For example, the high-precision weapons owned by the Beast's pirates in the future will still need to be built by Wano craftsmen. How can such production and sales be high? And the cost is unimaginable. Although there are concepts of assembly lines and automated production in this world, they are only at a relatively general level. The machine tools alone are stuck. With a sufficient industrial foundation and the establishment of an entire production line, the production efficiency will be greatly improved and the cost will be reduced countless times. The most important thing is accuracy. Being able to build turrets in batches does not mean that guns can be built in batches. The smaller the equipment, the higher the accuracy requirements. Based on this sufficient industrial foundation, it can also feed back other industries and promote the economic development of the kingdom. Chapter 10 Arms Trade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The first thing Hades got involved with was the arms trade. The main purpose is to enhance the military strength of the Kingdom of Kronos and show what true fire suppression is. With the individual, personal strength dominates. For a country, apart from its top combat power, personal power is somewhat insignificant. Every flower-growing citizen has a phobia of lack of vitality. Hades is too lazy to use these guns, which can only fire 1 or several rounds at a time. There is no such pleasure as shooting. The research on the kingdom's latest weapons and equipment is naturally to arm the army and enhance the kingdom's military strength. Second is the profits brought by the arms trade. In this sea, the arms trade contains huge benefits, and Hades will naturally not let it go easily. Now there is no law to punish or restrict them. The commercial channels of the Kingdom of Kronos can even sell arms all over the world. It took a year from research to creation. With the strong support of the royal family, a restricted area was designated in the mountains, and a series of arsenals were established in it. A complete military industry system was established, with a series of production lines, and a large number of workers were recruited to specialize in manufacturing guns and ammunition. It is also divided into 2 parts. One part contains firecrackers, grenades, artillery, etc. that are common on the sea, and is specially used for arms trade. In addition, more advanced weapons such as automatic rifles are specially supplied internally to the army of the Kingdom of Kronos and are temporarily not supplied to the outside world to ensure the advantage of the Kingdom of Kronos in weapons and equipment. In order to carry out arms trade, the Tartarus royal family specially established the Vulcan Weapons Manufacturing Company to carry out arms trade as a representative of the Kingdom of Kronos. At the same time, support the spokesperson in the underground world of the New World, secretly kill the current King of Arms, and seize the arms trade market in the underground world, making him the Lord of Arms in the underworld of the New World, secretly spreading the power of the Kingdom of Kronos in the underground world, thanks to the sophisticated production machines. The arms of the Kingdom of Kronos are not only highly efficient in production, but also of high quality, with few problems, longer service life, and greater power. The accuracy alone is enough to stand out from many weapons. It was very popular as soon as it appeared on the market. In terms of price, it is not much higher than the market price. You must know that most of the precision guns used by the nobles and circulated in the sea are handmade and machine-made. They are very expensive and are not suitable for mass production or popularization in the army. Envoys from the cooperative kingdoms were specially invited to hold an internal press conference to test the quality of the arms on site and compare them with the arms circulating on the sea. With the sharp contrast, the kingdoms that had trade relations with the kingdom of Kronos immediately placed a batch of orders. After testing, they naturally know the superiority of these weapons. If the number of weapons is huge, it can completely affect the outcome of a war without the strong men taking action. If it feels good, I will buy it from the kingdom of Kronos next. This is also necessary, because these arms have begun to circulate in the underground world. If they don't buy them, they will only be beaten. Although it is still the same weapon, the gap is a gap, which will be magnified many times in a war. After the Vulcan company's arms entered the market, its superiority was demonstrated in local regional frictions. Compared with the original random shooting method, the better accuracy has greatly improved the hit rate. In a war, there is often an advantage of hundreds or thousands of people. It is also good news for gunmen and the kingdom's army, and can form combat power faster. A large amount of arms flowed to all parts of the world through the channels of the kingdom of Kronos. The kingdom of Kronos turned a corner and its influence further expanded. In a chaotic world, orders will just keep coming. Today, the situation in the sea is not that chaotic, especially in the four seas. The navies of the four seas are unprecedentedly powerful and occupy a place in the naval headquarters. Even due to the chaotic wars in the past few years, the navy headquarters suffered huge losses, and the four seas faction of the navy completely occupied the first place in the navy headquarters. During the war between the kingdom of Kronos and the rebels supported by the world government, orders from trading partners can also express their potential support for the kingdom of Kronos, perhaps. Because the Rock's pirates' influence is gradually showing up around the world, the number of pirates going to sea is higher than before. Maybe someone is aware of the changes that may happen to the sea next, who knows? This situation has further stimulated the nerves of the world government. I don't want the kingdom of Kronos to continue to grow. The combination of multiple factors caused the world government to choose to take action against the kingdom of Kronos even though its strength was damaged and it had a powerful enemy like the Rock's pirates. Otherwise, it is normal to be silent for decades, and there will be more time to prepare. As the ruler of the world government has enough time to disintegrate and divide a country through various methods. It can fail countless times, and if the kingdom of Kronos fails once, there may be no chance to come back.